in the world.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Why won't the computer respond? Oh, come on, come on. You got this. Come on, computer. Come on. Come on, here it comes. Hey, what's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. You can call me whatever you'd like. Welcome to Sunday Q&A. I've taken a break from new house duties to come on back to the apartment and stream for you beautiful bastards. Glad to be back. We're gonna stream today from here, tomorrow night from here, Wednesday night from here. Wednesday night, Whoop Wednesday, I think is gonna be the last time that I fly this spot with like everything set up. I think after Wednesday, I'm gonna start breaking this place down to move over to the house with Maggie and the kids. So yeah, this Wednesday will be a little emotional. I'm gonna be honest. I've been streaming from this spot for almost 3 years, and yeah, this has been my home for a long time, and this is where CiottiFPV as like a career was born, and it's gonna get much bigger at the house and more crazy. But yeah, I'll be a blubbering mess as usual. So come on back Wednesday for that. Today we're going to do a couple of little unboxings here. I changed the name of the stream at the last second. And we're gonna talk about why I bought another soldering iron, and if we have time, we're gonna take a look at some flight footage. I freestyle flew the new house for the first time yesterday with the 250 on the Aerolite 3500 kV motors, as well as the one of the Rip Squeaks here, the 1404.5 Rip Squeak. And I might have broken another one of these motors. It might be the ESC, but I might have blown up another one of these motors. We'll talk all about it. Wait, actually, I'll tell you right now if I broke the motor. Nah, see, I think the motor's fine. It wasn't a very hard crash, and the motor is stuttering in a way that usually screams ESC, but the last one of these Hyperlite 1404.5s that broke was exhibiting the same behavior. The very first battery that I flew on these motors, I slammed it pretty good in the concrete. And yeah, the motor was stuttering in the exact same way as this is, and you know, it's way easier to change a motor than an ESC, so I changed the motor first and it was good to go. So kind of interesting. If this is another, see, what scares me is, what makes me think that it might be the motor again, is that, see how it stops spinning? They should continue to spin for like a second. Although that could be a sign that the ESC is blown up. If you bridge two of the motor pads, it doesn't apply motor braking, but like the motor doesn't continue to spin. But again, it's always quicker and easier and cheaper to swap a motor out. So yeah, I'm gonna swap the motor out. I don't know if I'm gonna do it today or not, but yeah, to see what's going on there. If that ESC is blown up, I don't care, because if we look at some of the flight footage from that, you'll see that there were a couple times where that the ESC just dropped a corner. So that ESC was on its way out. Hopefully, it's now completely dead. And I mean, annoying, because swapping an ESC and a micro is a real pain in the ass, but certainly better than swapping an entire AIO, right? Don't buy AIOs, friends. 20 by 20 stacks all day. AIOs are the worst. Unless you have to. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all you gotta do is type CiottiFPV and it'll light up an orange. And when you do that, this is what it looks like. Reed in the Wind is in the house. He knows what's up. He typed CiottiFPV and it lit up an orange, and in a minute I'm going to read his comment. This is my full-time job. If you like this kind of content, head over to CiottiFPV.com. There's a million ways you can support me. Patreon helps me out the most. $3 whole a month will get you in the door. 10 cents a day. You know this is worth that. Etsy store, Fiverr page, TeeSpring store, and a whole bunch of affiliate links. This is what I want to do. If you want to come along with me on the ride, it's, you know, I need a couple dollars here or there. So click a couple buttons. There's some free ways to support me if you have a couple extra dollars. Yeah, Patreon is the jam. Lots of good stuff going over on Patreon. Apache Smoke Wounded Diaper was first. Chopper FPV was next. Kevin Sumner was actually next. Then Chopper FPV, Tuner Taxi, McConnell Studios, Sleepy CBR. Hey, Sleepy CBR, I got your messages. I just leave them unread so that I don't forget about them. I do all my shipping from here at the apartment, and I just got back. So I did get your messages. I don't want them to get buried, so I leave them unread. For any of you guys that message me and you don't hear back, that's typically the case. Like, typically I'm leaving your message unread because I'm not in a situation where I can deal with it at that moment, and I don't want it to get buried. So yeah, if you message me anywhere or email me or whatever, and you don't hear back from for a couple days, I'm not ignoring you. I probably saw it. I just don't want to read it yet because I know what I need to do, and I know that I can't do it. At the new house, I don't have much stuff yet. I only have like 2 Mazda 2's worth of my stuff, which is not very much. So when I'm there, I'm focused on like getting the house going, and I kind of put a lot of the FPV stuff on hold until I get back here to the apartment where I can deal with most of it, where I ship all my stuff, blah, 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 blah. Tiago Ramos is in the house, Tom's Lazy, PJ Denard, Dan636, Left Step, Michael D, Fam G, Dusty Joe, KOFPV, Cole Powers, Robert Garcelone, Paul McDonald, Reading the Wind, Max Maxwell, Technique, Akash Jana. Wow, a whole bunch of people are here. What's up, everybody? Brain 3D is in the house. What's going on, Brian? How are you, brother? Everybody go check out Brain 3D or I'll attack you with a shovel. They make the best TPU stuff. Even if you have your own 3D printer, like folks in chat talk about this all the time, like there's a bunch of folks in chat that even though they have their own 3D printers, they still buy a lot of Brain 3D stuff. Mainly because Brian's modeling, like, career is really taking off. He's a handsome son of a bitch. Brian's, like, yeah, his 3D prints, like, his designs are phenomenal and arguably better than anything you're going to find on Thingiverse. So you're not, and that's really what you're buying, right? Like look how cheap his stuff is. Like, a lot of his mounts are like $12, $14. Like, you're not buying the TPU, you're not buying the machine time, you're buying his expertise in creating designs that work really well. And then, I mean, it's really nice that the print quality is just absurdly good. But yeah, keep that in mind. Like, Thingiverse files are designed by Tom, Dick, and Harry that don't know what the hell they're doing. Brian at Brain 3D does this for a living, so his prints, like, the structure of the design, like, there's actual thought put into it and real engineering put into it and a lot of experience put into it, right? Like, he's been doing this for a long time, so he's gotten to see where his mounts tear over years and years and years to beef up those areas. So you end up just, you know, getting a better product, and they're really inexpensive. So yeah, use your 3D printer for some stuff, but in my opinion, when it comes to like holding your $300-400 GoPro on your rig that's going 80 miles an hour into concrete, maybe spend 14 or 16 or however much they are dollars, and get a mount that has a much better chance of you not losing that $400 GoPro, and then, you know, you'll come out ahead. Spend less than 20 bucks to not lose 400. Geek Squad is great, but they don't cover invisible GoPros yet. Ed K is in the house, Ram Donko, Jackalope FPV, Fam G again, Kevin Sumner again, Dusty Joe. All right, we're getting into repeats. If you want the Gangly Man to say your name out loud, just come into the chat early and type something, or tag me by typing CiottiFPV. And yeah, Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper was the first one to tag me. He says, "Good evening, friend. Hello, collective. Got down with COVID. Feel like shit. Bored as hell. Staying in quarantine. Glad I can watch the best stream in the world." No, 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 no.
In the world.
I'm exhausted. It's man, this house shit is amazing, but it is tiring. Good lord. P. Richard Scott came over yesterday. We had a goddamn was that yesterday or was that 2 days ago? I don't know. Days are just blurring all together. But yeah, Patrick came over and we hung out and got a ton of shit done. Good God. We took some of the existing... All right, so for the record, I still didn't take any pictures of it. I'm so sorry, guys. But Patrick did get to see some of the just real crackerjack engineering done by the moron that lived here before us. And yeah, he it's not just me. Like, he agreed. Like, that shit's crazy. So that was nice. That made me feel good, because I'm like, man, I'm like pulling the 100th screw out of the random wall. I'm like, is it just me? Is this how people do things? But no, Patrick was like, yo, this guy was a fucking complete moron. So that was cool. But yeah, day by day, I'm demoronifying this house. And Patrick was a huge help. He did, man, we did all kinds of shit. Tore apart some of the shelves. This guy built these huge fucking shelves, and he just did everything with like vertical pieces, so they were just incredibly wobbly. So we spent like, oh, I don't know, 10 minutes just putting a couple diagonals in, one in the rear, one on each side, and wow, go figure, the fucking shelf is like a goddamn hewn from stone now. And then we also found some just next level engineering on some of these shelves, man. This guy was using brad nails as like structural elements, and in some cases he was just doing brad nails straight down. Like he put like a center support on this shelf, and the motherfucker, he put a screw in on one side but not on the other side, and then he just sent a bunch of brad nails down the middle, like, oh yeah, that'll be fine. It's not holding things downwards or anything. It won't bow like this and immediately pull all those brad nails out. Jeez, and like he used brad nails, not even like the little tiny brad nails, not even like the bigger brad nails that have the little grooves in them to, you know. Woo boy! There's some major fuckery, to steal a word from Maggie. But de-fuckerying it has been a blast, and yeah, it's I love it. It really, like, for my brain, this works really well for my brain. Like, living in apartments, it's this game, for me at least, of like, how little can you do, because you're gonna have to either undo, like, any time that you spend doing cool things, you're gonna have to undo them when you move out, which is just a huge fucking waste of time, right? So yeah, this is great, man. I'm having a blast, and just getting shit done. We've been in there for a week, and like, you would think that we've been in there for a month or two, but like, I'm exhausted, and that's where it's coming from. And like, my hands are all battered to shit, but it's so worth it, man. And I'm having a blast. So I was hoping. Oh, so it was Friday, yeah. So 2 days ago, Patrick came over. The initial plan when Patrick came over was to get the studio set up down in the basement. But there was just so much shit. Like, we just both got really distracted by the unbelievable amount of shit that just is so stupid that can be easily fixed. Before I knew it, it was 8 o'clock. I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to be streaming an hour ago. So yeah, I apologize for no notice on no stream on Friday, but yeah, when I needed to run, I guess I didn't need to, but I really wanted to run Ethernet down, and when I went to run Ethernet down, I popped one of the drop ceiling tiles up, and it was just it was just nasty in there. There was a ridiculous amount of cobwebs and just roach shit everywhere, and I was like, ugh. So yeah, we're the person that had been living in this place let it go. They really let it go. I actually talked to I gave my neighbor Jerry a ride along. Jerry's been a Porsche technician for over 30 years. He just retired. I gave him I flew a Freestyle battery on the 250, and he came out. He's like, "How the hell do you not run into all the tree branches?" I was like, "Jerry, years. That's how." And we had a good laugh. And then I gave him a ride along for another battery, and he loved it. So that was great to get like a good relationship going with him. And he actually he was like, "What do you think of your guys' treehouse?" And I was like, "Oh, I love it, man. I love it." And he's like, "Yeah, I remember when they built that. It was like 20 years ago." I'm like, "Holy Christ." Which makes sense, because the tree has like molded itself around the supports of the treehouse. And then I also found out from him that we're the third owners of the house. He said the original, it was built in like 90, I think, 1990. He said the original owners loved it. Like, the backyard was beautiful. And I figured out there's this like concrete poured path that it goes like this, and then it just gets eaten up, I never knew if it continued, because everything, like the kudzu and everything, is so thick that you just can't see if it goes any further. But Jerry told me that they built that for their son, the original owners. They built that for their son, and apparently it's a fucking racetrack, and it goes all the way down the hill, and it flattens out, and it's a big loop, and they built it so that their son could ride his bike down the back hill and then ride back up and do this like loop, and then it kind of goes around the treehouse and shit. So that's so good, because like Maggie and I have been trying to figure out, like, so the backyard is on like a pretty steep slope, and we've been trying to figure out like what the hell we're gonna do. Are we gonna like terrace it and have like multiple levels and whatnot? But I think this kind of like figures it out for us. So we just need to dig it all out. I'm gonna go in there with some angry tools and just attack all the kudzu and bushes and all this shit that's just overgrown over the last, like, I think it's been about 10 years since those people had it. That the previous owners that sold it to us. I say us, I mean Maggie. Yeah, just let it go. So I've got like 10 years worth of overgrown everything to hack and slash through. But luckily, I've got this awesome Milwaukee 18-volt string trimmer that has different attachments, and there's a chainsaw attachment for it, and then there's also one of those bush trimmer attachments. I think with those two. And then I'm also going to get one of those circular saw bastards that you can put on the string trimmer thing. I have a feeling with that little arsenal, I'll be able to just mangle through it and just kill. I think I'm just killing it all. I think I'm just going to just demolish everything green in that entire backyard and just bring it down to the dirt, and then we can build it back up. Because it's yeah, I mean, just... nature took over, and it's not like stuff that we necessarily want. And the mosquitoes are really bad because there's a million little spots for water to pool up, right? All these little kudzu leaves and whatnot. And I think it'll also help with the cockroach situation, because yeah, I mean the backyard is great for wildlife to live in, but that's not necessarily what we want. So yeah, lots of work coming, and yeah, free exercise, man. You can pay money to go to a gym, or you can bust your ass working on an awesome backyard to have a fucking oasis. So, fuck a gym, yo. Reading the Wind says, what's up? Ed K says, happy 4th weekend in collective. For me, with the just... we're not gonna go political at all, but the shit that's happened in the past couple of weeks, fuck the 4th of July. Sorry, but not proud to be an American right now. So this 4th of July, in my opinion, is canceled. I do have a gig tomorrow, though, which is great. I can make some money to, cover all the things that are being taken away from us for no fucking reason. But let's leave it there and not get any more ranty about politics, because it's, whatever. Ed K. Oh, we got that. Denzel the Terrible says, what's up, Buttercup? Good to see you. Fam G says, what's up? Bob Noxious says, what's up, Collective? Hey, Bob Noxious. So Bob Noxious sent me a text message that I didn't have a chance to get back to him with. He said, fireworks settings for 4th of July. If you're flying fireworks, you're going to set sharpness to medium. You should always set sharpness to medium. You're going to set your ISO at a low of 100, a high of 400. You don't want to go beyond 400. It gets too noisy. It looks like ass. And the fireworks are very bright. So the dark sky is going to be black. That's what you want. And then the fireworks are going to be properly exposed. So yeah, ISO range from 100 to 400, or sometimes it only gives you the maximum, and so yeah, you want the maximum ISO of 400. Shutter on auto, because it's just going to open the shutter all the way up anyway. And then you get to choose. 30 frames a second is going to make the fireworks a little bit brighter, and the ground a little bit brighter. 60 frames a second is going to make the fireworks a tiny little bit dimmer. If you look on my channel here, I have a firework edit from last year that was on 60 frames, and the fireworks are plenty bright. So in my opinion, 60 frames is the jam. I would love it if I had a camera that would do 120 frames, and then 4K, 2.7K, whatever you want. It's on you. So yeah, there's your fireworks settings that'll prevent your video from being noisy and grainy. If you don't, the big thing is limiting the ISO. If you don't limit the ISO, it will open the ISO all the way up to 1600 and it'll look grainy and horrible, and it'll try to make the black sky into a color, and that looks stupid. Like, at night, the sky is black. Let the sky be black in your footage. And you'll have a lot less grain, and the fireworks won't blow out as much. Like, when you do these settings, the fireworks won't all be like bright white. They'll have colors because you're not overexposing the fireworks. You know, cameras, the little tiny brain in the camera is pretty dumb. Our brains are a lot smarter than the brain in our cameras. Our brains can understand, oh, fireworks are going to be at night, so let me not try to expose neutral gray in the middle of the night. The camera doesn't know that, so when you set a camera on auto, it's always going to try to make everything in like sort of neutral gray, basically, and in bright exposures and in in bright scenes and very dark scenes, that's not what you want. So yeah, this is kind of photography 101. You can come here on YouTube and search for probably search for photography 101 and learn all this shit in 20 minutes, which you should. You know, if you're doing anything with your footage, you should take 10 or 15 or 20 minutes to learn a little bit about what shutter speed is, what f-stop is, what ISO is. And it's not hard to learn that stuff. There's a shitload of resources here on YouTube. If you look at one video and you still don't understand, click on somebody else's video. Somebody else is going to explain it differently. You know, these quads are flying cameras. Unless you don't do anything with the footage, then they're little tiny fighter jets. But if you're doing if you're showing any other people your footage, take a couple of minutes and learn something. It's really not all that hard. You'll pick it up pretty quick. If you can learn to build and fly and repair these fucking things, learning a couple of photography basics is going to be very easy. I know it seems daunting. I know it's like, I can't do it. Just put the time in. Like, in your life, you've done all kinds of hard shit because you've been forced to do them. Well, force yourself to do this. Put the time in. Everything is just time. Nobody's smarter than anybody else. Just some people put more time in. Put the time in. Do it. Daniel Harmon says, hey man. Rockcrawler FPV says, hey collective. Brain 3D says, hi. So glad you're hanging out, Brian. I feel like I've been so busy. Brian from Brain sponsored me like a month or so ago, and my life has just been utter chaos. I was really glad to get some of the bones, the GoPro bone stuff in, like as soon as he sponsored me, because that was like the only time that I had. But since then, man, it's been really nuts, and I was like, I had a couple moments, so I was like, man, I hope Brian doesn't think I'm like ignoring him or anything. I haven't ignored any of his messages or anything like that, but like, you know, we were talking a bunch in those first couple of weeks. And then, yeah, the house just has eaten all my time. But it's for the greater good. This fucking house is one hell of a fly spot. It's yeah, there's gonna be some cool shit going on. I've got two 50-foot SMA, white SMA extension cables that I'm gonna run up through the floor. I'm gonna put one on the outside of the house, and I'm going to put another one upstairs in the living room on the inside of the house, so I'm going to be able to fly analog just anywhere, really, outside, inside, with really good signal coming through the Mac Mini for you guys to check out. Let me make sure this isn't... Hey, the boxes are gone. Awesome. I spent 1 million hours breaking down all the boxes that Maggie used to move in. Maggie moved from a 4-bedroom house into this 3-bedroom house. No, I guess this is a 4-bedroom house. One of them is her office now. So there were a lot of boxes. So I spent hours and hours and hours breaking boxes down. That's one of the reasons my hands are so jacked up. And then we threw them up on Marketplace, and somebody just came and got them. So, yeah. What else is going on here in the chat, friends? Tiago says, flying for the first time on my house in Portugal. Do you change the antennas when you fly tiny whoops, or do you use circular polarization? Yeah, I have little tiny CP antennas on all my tiny whoops now. The little tiny True RC singularities. It's like a half a gram weight penalty over a linear antenna, and Jesus, they are so much better. My God. I really do recommend. I will say this though, these singularity antennas are a little expensive. They're typically like $20. A $20 antenna on a tiny whoop, you could argue that that's insane. But I've spent money on dumber shit than that. Michael Scott Rue says, fixing broke stuff's too hot outside to fly. Man, it has been hot as shit lately. Yeah, I've been sweating my ass off getting a lot of this work done. But it's good, man. It's cardio, right? It's moving stuff around. It's getting shit done. It needs to get done. Let's knock it out. I don't like to fly when it's this hot though, to be honest. Like, the mosquitoes are chewing on you when you're trying to fly. Like, it sucks, you know? Like, doing yard work and shit when it's hot, it's like, who cares? I'm gonna sweat my balls off doing this anyway. What's 10 more degrees? But yeah, flying is like I want to be comfortable when I fly. I don't want to be all sweaty and horrible, you know? I don't know. It's funny how that works. It's like, well, if I'm going to be miserable, I might as well be all the way miserable. If I'm going to do something I enjoy, I don't want to be even a little bit miserable. There's no in here, and now we got to be either out, whatever. Akash Jana is here. After flying without any license, I've been finally threatened of cops. How are y'all making it through the million laws in your place just for recreation? In my case, not an under 250 guy. Akash, I assume that you're not in the U.S. In the U.S., nobody really cares. The cops don't know any of the laws. You know, the cops are too busy shooting black people, so they don't really bother us. Too soon? Probably too soon. I'm so disgusted. I really am. But again, we're not going to get fucking political. Yeah, it's not an issue here in the U.S. In other countries, from what I understand, it's all about staying under 250. So, yeah, we got plenty of incredible builds that'll be under 250 grams and fly hysterically well. So, yeah, I think that's your best bet. But, yeah, in the U.S., the cops are kind of dumb, and they just don't get it. They don't have any understanding of any of this shit, and they don't give us a hard time. Every once in a while, they'll be like, you know, you're trespassing, you gotta go, and that's it. But, yeah, I don't know anybody that's had an issue here in the U.S. The issues that we have here in the U.S. are douchebag neighbors that get mad about the noise because their lives are so fucking good that they have nothing else horrible, nothing else not horrible, nothing else even remotely bad in their lives to be concerned with, and then they're where the problems come from. But yeah, the cops have no interest in FPV in my experience. Chuck, I'm not going to ruin your last name, says hi. Grizz FPV is in the house. What's up, Grizz? Hope you're doing well. Ramdango says, some cowboy DIY is impressive, good and efficient, but sounds like not that guy. Also, are you discrediting a lady's work? I don't... What? Some cowboy DIY is impressive. But sounds like not that guy. Also, are you... I don't know what you mean by discrediting a lady's work, but this guy's cowboy DIY work is not impressive in any way. It's not good. It's not efficient. It's just dangerous. This guy was a moron. Michael Blade says happy 4th. 4th of July is canceled for me, but happy 4th to you if you're not embarrassed to be an American today or tomorrow. Technique FPV with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. No comment. Just wants to spread the love. Thank you, brother. He says kudzu is edible. Is it really? I ain't eating this kudzu though. Ooh. Kevin Sumner says, you pushing for the Mac Mini and Studio 3 is still going to be on the MacBook. Yeah, I mean, once I move all my shit, this 13-year-old tower is gonna not get hooked up at the new place. The Mac Mini is getting hooked up. Well, you know what? This is gonna get hooked up as like a streaming platform over with the video games for the time being before I build a PC. Also, I do want it hooked up to just a little monitor just in case I need to like grab an old password or some shit off of it. But yeah, when this desk goes to the new house, that computer will be far away from it. The Mac Mini is going to be what's on this desk. It is going to be my primary computer. So yeah, we'll have 1080. We will have. I'll be able to hook the Stream Deck up and it'll work. I'll be able to do have the VRX hooked up so that not just on the laptop can we watch. Can you guys watch me fly? So yeah, it'll be really good. Robert Garcelone says, consider renting a little Bobcat Skidster for a day or 3. Your back will thank you, and the progress will astound you. That's interesting. I bet you'd probably flip over, man. This backyard is like steep as hell, and it's an interesting thought, though. It would be fun to roll one of those things down the hill and almost die. Ram Danko says, dry pile your green wood equals a lovely fire a year. What the hell's dry pile? And what the hell's green wood, Ram Danko? I don't know what either of those things are. Flyzone Drone says, what's up, brother? What's up, dude? YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. There we go. Ramdango says, am I correct? The Runcam 4K is 3 grams heavier than the HD0 Whoop system at all. I don't know what the Runcam 4K is. What's that? What's the Runcam 4K? Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, meaning Runcam Hybrid. Oh, okay. I think you're right. You're probably pretty damn close. Yeah. But those are 2 completely different things. The Runcam Hybrid is going to give you crystal clear 4K. The HD0 system is going to give you the HD0 rainbow riddled, FPV. Your FPV feed is going to be great, but using that as flight footage, not so much. Whereas the Runcam Hybrid is going to give you brilliant flight footage, but you're going to be flying in analog. You're going to be flying in really good analog, which is totally fine. But yeah, so two completely different things in my opinion. Also, the Runcam Hybrid is more for rigs like this, 250-ish gram rigs. You really wouldn't want to put a Runcam Hybrid on a tiny whoop. Whereas the HD0 Whoop system, you absolutely want to put on a tiny whoop. But I would never put that on a rig like this. A rig like this, you would put DJI on. It would make way more sense to put DJI on it. The flight footage is going to be actually like usable as HD footage. So different. I don't really see much bleed over between those 3 products. They have they're very specific tools for very specific tasks. Grivo says bugs crawling on your neck. No. Yeah, not fun. Not fun. Mosquitoes while you fly are very annoying. Ed K says, screw all the political and whatever nonsense. It's blow shit up holiday. LOL. That's one way to look at it. Paul McDonald says greenwood equals fresh growth. Okay. So what was the comment was dry pile. So I still don't know what dry pile means. Greenwood equals oh, okay. So just burn. Yeah. Burn things. I try not to burn stuff. I try to reuse it. Just being a tree-hugging, bleeding heart liberal and all. Danzo the Terrible says, battery's almost charged. Should I go fly or hang out with you degenerates? Go fly, Dan. You can watch the repeat. I'm caught up. Look at me go! Oh, shit. Oh my god. After this live stream, I'm gonna, today's a day of rest. So it's, wait, today's Sunday? Tonight is a day of rest. Tomorrow's a day of rest too, and I think Tuesday I'm gonna get some shit done. Usually Tuesday's my day of rest. Look, I skipped the proof for the first time ever on Sticker Mule, and I fucked up. So these are like a blem. I don't like this. This sticker is supposed to be white, not holographic, and then the red comes through as holographic. So these like sort of blem, whatever, stickers are gonna get thrown in with everything that I ship out because I just don't love them. But you guys will benefit from that. So holographic Ciotti, and maybe some of you guys will like the look of this better rather than the opaque white ones that I usually do. Robin Duckett says, signed up to the Patreon the other day, phone number tier, but instead your phone number. I just want 3 strands of your hair. Thank you very much, Robin. Very, very kind of you. Speaking of, let's get some shout outs. Robin, welcome to the collective, my man. Thank you very much for the support. It really means a lot. It's the only way that I can do what I'm doing. So yeah, much appreciated. Looks like the 1 Fiverr order I got canceled the order. That's okay. It was hard. We were trying to figure out time zones, and it was just becoming really impossible to find a time that we were both available. So this is actually, I'm actually kind of happy that this is canceled. Let me get caught up real quick here, though, and give some well-deserved shout-outs, because I have seen a couple folks who have jumped onto the Patreon. Come on, man. I really wish I didn't get so many emails. It's like, I get such anxiety for emails because it's just so many. All right, here we go. Mike R. Welcome to the collective, my man. Thank you for joining the Patreon. Enjoy the madness. Sleepy CBR, thank you for joining the Patreon. Enjoy the chaos, my man. Make sure you guys use the little tags at the top of Patreon. It'll break down. You can click like Tech Talk up top. Or you can click Audio, and it'll just show you. Those kind of things in there. It's super slick. And I thought there was one more. There it is. Robin Duckett, thank you for joining the Patreon. Much appreciated. 38 pounds 50. Look at you go, man. Ultra super supporter. Actually, I'm going to make that unread. All right, cool. There we go. Let's get caught up on chat again here. Frankie B is building Rip Squeak with 3-inch arms. What stack and motors do you recommend for freestyle flight? Down below in the descriptions of all my videos, Frankie B, is a section called the gear that I use and trust. Yeah, down there, it's got everything you need. Motors are a pretty personal decision. How much power do you want is really the question. If you want all the power in the world, I really like the Toka 1505s. If you want all the power in the world and crazy durability, you want the XNova 1804s. A little bit more realistic of a motor is going to be the iFlight Xing 1504, or I'm going to be building one. You could also do the Emax 1306, but I would rather do the Xing 1504. I've got in this unboxing that's coming up in a minute here a set of these Axis 1404s. These might also work for a lightweight Rip Squeak. So a couple of different motor options. All of those motors you're going to be really happy with. Yeah, it's all about how much power you want. For me, in my opinion, micros are for smaller spaces, and so the smaller, lighter weight motors are better. The Toka 1505s are fun, but they're too much. The 1804s, again, they're fun, but way too much. The Xing 1504s are really about as big as I would want to go. The only problem with them is we don't have a pitchy enough 3-inch prop for them. They're a little bit of a lower KV. So with these 1404s, you can get more KV out of them, which is a better match for most of the 3-inch props that we've got. So yeah, the Xing 1504 is my personal favorite. Make sure you get the 3900 KV. But I have high hopes for these Axis 1404s. I would I'm a little hesitant to recommend these Hyperlite, which Pyrodrone sells, 1404.5, 4522 kVs, because they might be a little fragile. I'll be able to tell once I see if this motor shit the bed. If this motor shit the bed, then they're too fragile. If it's the ESC that went, then we're cool. But yeah, technically this is another option for you. Hyperlite 1404.5, 4522 kV. They fly great, but they might be a little fragile. So I mean, if you don't crash into concrete all the time, I think that might actually be the motor for you. Or the Xing 1504. I really dig those. Robin Duckett saying hello. Remy Tim dropped in the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. Maurice says, what do you think of the Flywoo Venom H20 to carry a naked GoPro? Do you suggest something else? Maurice, I don't know. So I don't do reviews. So I don't get any of these bind and fly rigs sent to me. And to be totally honest, I'm not really interested in any of the bind and fly rigs because they just don't fly all that well. Like, they're not put together and built by people that fly. They're built by people that are trying to make money. So I'm not a fan of any bind and flies. And also, I don't think you should be either. Like, you're going to crash constantly. And so you buy a bind and fly and then you crash it immediately. And now what? Well, now you got to rip it all apart and fix it. Well, you didn't build it, so it's going to make that process a little bit harder. And it doesn't really save you any time. It saves you a couple of hours on the front end of building it, and you're going to eat up those hours by the fact that you're going to be taking apart a rig that you're unfamiliar with. So I really don't recommend bind and flies ever. This particular bind and fly looks like a complete fucking nightmare. You've got janky ass. I can't show you guys because this, well, hold on, let's see. Nah, that website doesn't work. Don't buy that. Don't buy that rig. This is a terrible idea. This is just ridiculous. This rig is a good example of building something that looks wild so that people will buy it. But there's just no, this is just dumb. This is a stupid design. 6 motors has been proven time and time again to not be the answer. This is going to crash horribly. You've got some motors that are pullers, some motors that are pushers. This is just ridiculous. This is a rig that'll end up on the wall. And like, if that's what you want, like if you want something to look cool on the wall and you think that this looks cool, sure, maybe, I guess, but don't do that. Don't buy this to fly it. This is absolutely asinine. This is just stupid. These landing gear things here are going to break, and then these motors are going to drive themselves into the ground. Even if they don't break, these props are only, what's that look like, 3-4 millimeters from the ground? So you're never going to be able to, like, you're never going to be able to land this or take it off from the grass, which is a real problem when, you know, you crash eventually, which you will. Not eventually, but immediately. This is just bad. This is just bad quad design. This is you know, make something that looks insane so that people that don't know a lot get kind of tricked into buying it. Which I hate. I really hate to see that. So yeah, fuck this rig with a file, a large coarse file. This is absurd. Yeah, and then you've got a proprietary ESC that's got 6 outputs on it too. That's a complete nightmare. Like, yeah, this is bad. This is no good. Don't do it. Bad news. Look at, here's what you do. You find your favorite pilot, you look at what they fly, and you carbon copy what they're flying. What that does for you is that you gain the benefit of literally hundreds of hours of R&D that pilot has done on their side. You take all of those hours and you immediately just absorb them, rather than spending those hundreds of hours and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on your own to go through that process, right? All of us that have been flying for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, we've been on this adventure. You know, we got into it, I'm almost 6 years in. When I got into it, it was awful. Everything was awful. So we had to spend lots and lots and lots and lots of hours to find the good parts. We've done that hard work for you. Don't do that hard work for yourself. You're never going to catch up with us. Like, we're always going to have 10,000 plus hours ahead of you. So, like, this thought, and I get it, I had this thought too, this thought of like, no, I'm going to find the secret combo that nobody else knows about, that works perfectly for me. That's like, some people find that to be a fun little adventure to go on if they have the money and the time. I personally don't. I wish that I had not gone through that. And I talk about this as often as possible so that you don't have to go through that process, because during that process, a lot of people quit. So take a look at your favorite pilots, take a look at exactly what their builds are, and just carbon copy their build and focus on flying. The technical side of this hobby is a hobby in and unto itself. And I guess unless that's what you prefer, right? If you don't like flying and you like building, well, okay, then yeah, you can go down that road. But if you enjoy flying, yeah, just carbon copy somebody that knows what they're doing's build, and you'll save yourself I'm not even kidding. You will save yourself thousands of dollars. I promise you, you will save thousands of dollars, and you will save literally hundreds of hours of your time. So do that. That is the absolute best advice I can give you. I would have paid $500 for someone to give that advice to me 5.5 years ago, because it would have paid off tenfold in time and money. Jay Drones says, hello. Kevin Sumner says, thoughts on the Xing 2 1404, way too heavy. T-Motor 1404, love them, but I don't love them quite as much as the Axis 1404s. The T-Motor 1404 is my second favorite of the 1404s, though. And XNova 1404, hate it, way too notchy, way too coggy for an RS, RipSqueak. The Xing 1504 are out everywhere and maybe discontinued. They are out everywhere and they are discontinued. So yeah, there you go. I got these. We're about to do this unboxing. I got Newbie Drone has these in the high KV. What's the high KV? 4510 KV. That's a beautiful KV. The T motor, which is also great, is 4600 kV. So the Axis Power and the T motor 1404s are my favorites. But again, fair warning, I don't know if, for me, I don't know if they're going to have enough power on the RipSqueaks that are up in like the 250 gram range. I have a feeling they will, but I got to do it and test it. The old school 1404s, none of them had enough power. But there's a whole new generation of 1404s because of the tiny trainers. And yeah, Motor Tech is producing more power for the same size. Expander's in the house. Robin Duckett says, got my Fox Shark HDO 3 paperweight on Friday. Can't wait to be in the smear zone. We're just gonna really quickly hit on that. Yeah, the V3 DJI Fat Shark Walk Snail Waka Flocka Flame shit. What the hell's going on? Why is it so smeary? I thought it was supposed to be better. I watched Joshua's video, and the DJI V1, V2 looked better in pretty much every way. I didn't like focus on his video. It was on while I was doing things, but I don't know. I have to assume that they'll do a firmware update of some sort, and it'll get better. It also, one of my thoughts was that the camera sucks. I weirdly feel like whatever that camera is that they're shipping with it is just dog shit. hopefully I'm right, and then there's just a different camera, and it looks way better. But the smearing is very strange. The ground being just one smooth color is no good. That is gonna make flying low to the ground very, very, very difficult. So, yeah, the V3 ain't for me until they fix those issues. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. All right, people. Let's open some boxes. Goddamn. What happened? What happened? OBS. What? Hold on. What was that? I stole that from Mighty Car Mods. Go subscribe to their channel. It's the best car-related channel on the internet. If you don't think so, we're gonna have a fist fight. This is a little Amazon order that I put in. All right, so the Cinesplore is the best of the Cinewoop frames. And you can 3D print ducts just like all the other Cinewoop frames, and they're okay. But one of the things that makes the Cinesplore better than all the other Cinewoop frames is the availability of these StanFPV HQ ducts. Molded duct. Infinitely strong because it's molded by HQ with their super sturdy plastic. Well, I mean, HQ doesn't mold anything. They don't have their own. They don't have their own machines. They have other people do everything for them. But that's neither here nor there. The way that StanFPV sells these is kind of awful, in my opinion. He sells these with just plastic threads in them, and then he gives you a really long, like M2 by 12, which you screw in. If you don't strip it out when you're first screwing it in, the first time you hit anything, it strips out. His solution, and what he'll tell you to do, is to take a torch and put it on the head of the screw, and that'll melt the plastic and re-thread it. No. I had a brand new set of these that I put on the. I mean, this Acro Weebu is calling out the Cinema. The Cinema is a really interesting frame, but from a reliability and from a serviceability standpoint, I would never ever bring that thing on set. Really, really interesting frame though, and if you're into like building, it's a great frame for you. But it's definitely not the frame for me. So yeah, these guys are great, but you got to put a metal collar into them, a brass collar into them. I talked to Stan about it. He's not interested in doing it, so we have to do it ourselves. It's not all that hard. You drill it out a little bit. You take your regular old soldering iron and you just push the little brass collar insert into it, and you can get it 90% perfect, and then it's amazing. But in the quest for more durability, I found McConnell Studios and I found these taller brass inserts. The normal brass inserts are either 3 or 4 millimeters tall. These are 6 millimeters tall, and I want to get them perfect. So if you buy this Weller, or if you have the Hako, you can also buy these little tip insert. These are specifically for these little brass collars. So unfortunately you have to buy the whole kit with M2, M3, M4, M5. So you're only really going to use this M2 in the kit, and here's how it works. The little thingy on the end of the thingy, this goes in there like that. And when I look at it, yeah, so it's the length of the, so we're going to be installing them like that. So it goes in there like that. So this is a soldering iron tip. This is the little extra long brass collar. This Logitech camera. Logitech is the worst at producing webcams, so their cameras never focus. Holy crap, it actually focused for once. So yeah, this goes in there. And the really nice thing about this soldering iron tip is that this fills up the inside of this guy. When you just use the tip of your soldering iron to push it in, it gets it plenty hot, but what happens is the molten plastic will come up into the hole, and it'll fill in a little bit of the hole. So you won't be able to put your hardware as far into this thing. So that's why I went whole hog on this, and I bought these little inserts, because again, this long part of the insert is going to fill the majority of this brass collar up to make sure that the plastic doesn't come up in there. It can still come up in there a little bit, but what also helped, this is why I say you want to drill them out a little bit. If you just push the brass collars directly into these tiny ass little holes that are sized for the M2, the long M2 hardware, there's going to be a lot of extra plastic moving around in there. And that extra plastic is what's going to want to fill this up. So if you just drill this out just a little bit, just lightly, you just want to take a little bit of plastic out of it, it's gonna prevent that from happening. If you want to go all the way off the reservation, you can get these little insert compatible tip guys, and they'll fill up the. Does that make sense? It's hard for me to explain that because it's there's a lot going on there, but yeah, once you put the brass collars into these ducts, game over. They're fucking amazing. They're so strong. The only way I was able to break one of these was at Rampage, and I fucked up a power loop and dropped it on the cement from like 15 feet up. Full weight Cinesplore, full Hero 8, and that finally broke one of these. But other than that, once these have the brass collars in them, there is nothing better. And yeah, I don't have the Hako soldering iron that everybody has, so I had to spend $20 on this little Weller here, which is, you know, whatever. This will be my guest soldering iron for the basement of the house. Yo, the basement of the house has its own bathroom, and it's got its own entryway. So it's gonna be like, yo, come on over, park in the driveway, walk around back, don't disturb anyone. And we'll get some tiny whooping on. I can't wait, man. I'm the luckiest motherfucker on earth to have met Maggie and the kids, and to have met them at this time, and just what a difference a year makes. A year ago, tomorrow a year ago will be when is the anniversary of me flying the fireworks while the stalker was in the goggles. And now 1 year later, I'm with one of the coolest human beings I've ever met. Yeah, it's just, keep your head up, guys. Even in the darkest times, if you just stick with it and just keep going and keep going and keep pushing, it's gonna turn around. The last, you know, a year ago and then 3 or so years before that were like the darkest time of my life, and I almost didn't make it out, very literally. But luckily I did, and now I'm living my best life, as the ladies say. And yeah, I would much rather have. Oh, I didn't need to do that. I would much rather have suffered through that and now have the carrot on the end of the string than to have you know, not made it through that. So even in the darkest times, keep your head up. Blitz FPV says, I just got a tiny trainer, really impressed with the 533 1404 motors. Are all XNova motors like that in your experience? No. The XNova 1404s being ultra notchy like that is an aberration in their motors. Usually their motors are nice and smooth. For anyone not keeping score, the Tiny Trainer motors and the XNova motors are very, very coggy. So in the rigs like I'm building here that are carrying HD cameras, they will not work because you'll get tons of jello in your HD feed. So yeah, I think all I needed to do was crack this one. Yeah, there we go. Very cool. So here it is. Oh God. Oh, farts. So yeah, this little weller, which plugs into the wall, that looks weird. This is gonna be my my tip putter inner weller. If you guys have Cinesplores, if 50 of you ask me to do this, I'll probably not do it. But if a couple of you guys that have Cinesplores that need and or want these awesome ducts but want the brass collars put into them, if it's only a couple of you guys, I'm gonna charge you for it, but I am willing to do it. I'm kind of thinking about doing an order, messaging Stan and being like, look man, your threading solution is no good. Can you please hook me up with a deal on 20 sets of your ducts so that I can properly put inserts into them and then sell them on like Etsy or eBay or something. They'll be a little expensive because it's going to take me a bunch of time and my time is not cheap. But yeah, I would be, because look, I have a bag of 100 of these things and a full set of these ducts only takes 12. So yeah, I have enough of these brass collars to do what, 6 or 7 sets of these, I guess. I'm bad at math, but oh, I'm terrible at math. No, it would be like whatever. Yeah. So there's that. It's got little LEDs on it. I'm too curious as to what these little LEDs look like. Hold on. I'm gonna plug this into the wall over here. Ah, look at that! They're very dim, but they do work. That's interesting. Way to go, Weller. Way to go. All right. So yeah, there's that. This is now garbage. Look at this big dumb tip that they give you. That's ridiculous. I am actually going to save this tip. What this is going to be the workbench soldering iron. If I have to do like a big soldering job for something like house related, I'll use this big dumb thing. User's guide and a janky little metal stand. I don't need that. Don't fall out. I hope that little metal thing didn't fall out because it's going to kill me. Hey, does anybody have a use for the M3, M4, M5, or M6 brass collar putter inner? I don't. If you want them, I'll send them to you. All right, so that's that. I'm very excited to get these longer brass collars put in this fresh set of StanFPV ducts because, yeah, I broke one of them at Rampage, and so I've had this poor Cinesplore just sitting here naked with no ducts ever since then, which is fine. I have 2 other Cinesplores with ducts on them, but yeah, not the end of the world. But very cool, very cool. Very glad to have this. You know what the red tape means. Little tiny RDQ order. They're my least favorite shop to order from. P. Richard Scott's in the house. He says, get in the goggles as CiottiFPV and you'll become a stalker too. Blitz FPV says, I forgot to read the rest of his comment. Also, I have a 30-second video on my channel about a crazy tower dive. Very cool, Blitz. Tower dives are the goddamn best. Hey, by the way, the flight footage at the beginning was, oh, I forget where it was. Greenville, I think. The little slot in that building. I had to do it. It might have, if it felt a little sketchy, it was less sketchy than you thought. I spent the majority of my time making sure that the rig didn't have enough momentum if it had fail-safe to go out into the street. And a lot of the reason I was bouncing up and down was to make sure that it wasn't going to have any little micro fail-safes or anything like that. So just trust me, I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to flying really hard. So if it's a sketchy situation like that, I go above and beyond to make sure that I don't hurt anybody, because I don't want to be that guy. Gift to RDQ customers, and it's a big, heavy diatone battery strap. That'll be going to someone that won a giveaway, because I don't want it. Those big, heavy straps are absurd. Okay, cool. We'll save this for last. I got a couple of these 3 LED, TinysLEDs in blue for the Rossi and the Razorback. I've been using these weird kind of thin TinysLEDs that I had in blue, but these are the right ones that you can like glue, not glue, VHB perfectly onto the back of the Vista. So the the blue light will be a little bit better on the back of the Rossi and the Razorback. Not that anyone cares about that other than me. Some stickers, I'll throw those into the giveaway bags as well. I got some M2, I'm running out, I've done so many micro builds, I'm running out of M2 nylock nuts, so I got some of those. RDQ is the only spot that sells these countersunk M2 washers, which are great for the Tooth Fairy, because the Tooth Fairy uses all M2 hardware, even to hold the GoPro mount on. And the little head on an M2 screw is nowhere near big enough if you crash and the GoPro flops forward. So these are really awesome. They're the little cup washers that are like this, that you guys see me running on a lot of my M3 hardware on the bottom of the glides, but these are M2. Very hard to find. RDQ is the only place that has them. I couldn't remember who had them. Mamba RGB LED board. What? Gift to RDQ customers. More diatone stuff that they can't sell. Let's see what it is. Not can't sell, but have been unsuccessful in selling. This is a little LED board with dip switches on it. I'm assuming that the dip switches are red, green, and blue. They sure are. Man, that's a chunky LED board. Cool. 16 volts though. Won't take 6S. 4S LED board. I'm randomly throwing this into one of the packages that's getting sent out. There it is. It's gone. Because I just don't want it, and you guys will be better off with it. These are pretty cool. This is pretty cool, I will admit. HQ is making a 3.5-inch 2.5 pitch tri-blade. This is the most pitchy 3.5-inch propeller that we've got. These are going to be going directly onto the 250 because, my God, these 2004 3500 kV Aerolite motors make a shitload of power, and none of the current 3.5-inch props have enough pitch for them. Technically, sure, you can just go up to a 4-inch prop and that'll be a better match for these motors, but this frame at this build at 270, 280 grams on a 4-inch prop is like a toothpick. It's way too floaty. On a 3.5-inch prop, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But our existing selection of 3.5-inch props don't have enough pitch to take advantage of these of a 2004 motor. But these are the most pitchy 3.5s now, and they'll be a much better match. So I'm really excited. I should have bought more than 3 sets of these, but HQ has more props that are unbalanced than Gemfan right out of the package. So like the molds are not balanced on a bunch of their micro props. So I always tread lightly when I buy a new HQ prop, because yeah, there's a chance that it'll be out of balance. I've been burned before. I will not be burned again. So yeah, that's just me. This is me. I hate that they only put one set of props per plastic bag. You can almost always fit 3 sets of props in each plastic bag. And then you can use the other plastic bags. You can hoard the other plastic bags forever, and then not. Although, man, they're using a really small one here. I might not be able to get this closed. It's good. It's good entertainment for you guys watching me put props in a bag. There you go. Start selling your fucking propellers in sets of 3, for Christ's sakes. What do you think? This planet is made of plastic? Kind of is, but you know, we gotta leave it in the ground. Look at that! Look what RDQ has had in stock. This is, well, I'll show you. Sticker won't come off the front. I will show you. This is kind of exciting. I'm very glad that I resisted the urge to buy, this is gonna ruin the surprise, but a Mobeetle just for this. This is the ELRS Diamond. It's so good it'll give you head. AIO. It won't. Confirmed. I don't even know if this is gonna work. The morons put the USB port all on the side. I don't know if that's gonna fit in a Meteor 65 frame, but you know what? We're gonna find out right the hell now, because I just looked over and I've got one sitting right here. Let's see, Meteor 65 frame. Oh yeah, we're good. It's gonna be a pain in the ass because I'm gonna have to solder the motors on. I'm really not looking forward to that. But yeah, that USB port is totally fine. So yeah, expect some cursing on Wednesday or tomorrow, whenever I decide to build this out. But yeah, this is gonna take the lightweight 0702 Tiny Whoops to the next level. This will be even more lightweight, and definite sacrifice in range with these shitty antennas. No nice ceramic antenna, unfortunately, for the ELRS. But you don't need range on a Tiny Whoop. Flying a Tiny Whoop long range is kind of silly, in my opinion. There are much better tools for that job. My God, this thing's little. Good Lord. Man, I wish they'd just put a little UFL on there for a proper antenna. I'm really interested to see how much worse the video performance will. I don't think this is the AIO to have. I think this is the AIO that will... I think we can learn a little bit in terms of saving an extra half a gram or a gram or whatever the hell, however much lighter it is. But I still think that the regular full-size Mobula 6 ELRS AIO is the one to have. You get a proper ELRS ceramic antenna, you get a UFL port for a proper video antenna at the cost of an extra gram and a half. Although, you know what? This will be lighter. This will be considerably lighter because I can't put a proper antenna on it. And that's going to save probably an entire gram. So yeah, this is going to be noticeably lighter. So this will be interesting. This will be a Tiny Whoop that has shittier video performance, shittier link quality, but it'll be probably a gram and a half lighter. So it'll have better flight characteristics. And it'll be much less serviceable because I'm going to have to direct solder the motors, which is going to really suck a bag of dicks. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if all that's worth it. Okay. But this is the reason that I did an RDQ order. Because, yeah, lightweight flies better, period. Look at that. Look at that fresh set of Tiny Whoop 0702 30,000 kV motors just waiting for this. In your face. Faced. Is that a thing the kids say? Faced? They said that at one point, didn't they? Yeah, a long time ago, you old bastard, you. Listen to that. Listen to the sound that's a... Hold on, let me get caught up on chat. Bob Noxious has got to go. Left Step says, just be sure not to get a whoop stuck in Maggie's hair. Send to him, I usually hate that. Yeah, I've made it a point to stay the hell away from her hair. There was one occasion that I got kind of close. I was like, no! Espander says, big dumb tip is perfect for XT60s. Ooh, that's true. That's true. Although I don't know how hot that iron's going to get. Being plugged into the wall, who knows. BlitzFPV says, I know I just got the tiny trainer, but I want to build an ultralight 1-2S toothpick with the Happy Model X12 board. That or just get a Mobeetle. I think the toothpick will be better for outdoors. Yeah, tiny whoops are terrible outdoors, Blitz. Definitely don't fly tiny whoops outdoors. Tiny whoops are a specific tool for flying indoors. Toothpick is a specific tool for flying outdoors. So yeah, definitely build a toothpick. Bulldog FPV says, if you had a Beta FPV 20 amp AIO, TBS Nano, Caddx Baby Turtle Whoop, and a V2 RipSqueak 3-inch, how would you finish it? I would take that Beta FPV AIO and I would put it up on either Facebook Marketplace or FPV Exchange, because that thing's terrible and it's just going to cause you issues, so get rid of that. TBS Nano is great. Caddx Baby Turtle Whoop. Caddx Baby Turtle Whoop. I guess that's a camera. Yeah, that's fine. V2 RipSqueak, cool. When you say how would you finish it, I'm guessing that you're looking for a motor recommendation. If you rewind like 15 minutes, I just went through this. The short answer though is that I really dig the Axis 1404 high KV motors. I think that's what you're asking. If that's not what you were asking, tag me again and be a little bit more clear if you don't mind. Come on, YouTube, you're killing me. PJ Denard says, Happy Model Diamond or the X12. I don't know what the X12 is, but I don't think the Happy Model Diamond is the best. I think the regular Happy Model full-size board with the ceramic antenna is the one. And then Tiago says, have you tested the fractal frame? I have not. I'm waiting for FPV Exchange is sending me one of the HD0 tiny whoops. And that's what that fractal frame is for. Newbie drone order! I'm going to save that box, actually. Wi-Fi Short Saver 2. Every single time I order FPV stuff, if that place sells these, I order one for you guys for our every other week Monday giveaways. This is one of my favorite giveaway items because even if you have one, you should have two. One for your flight bag, one for your house. This is an absolutely essential piece of FPV kit. Vifly, V-I-F-L-Y, Short Saver 2. It's the only smoke stopper that actually works. I cannot give away enough of those. Look at this big donkey. This is a 6S 2500 mAh battery. This is actually an 18650 battery, I think. Where are the watt hours? What? 55.5 watt hours. Really? I didn't realize it was that high. Jesus. So this is a double duty. A long range battery, but I don't really fly long range. This is gonna be my battery to plug into my little travel charger when I'm on a gig. And so I bring 10 4S 850s, but if there's a ton of flying going on, that might not be enough. So this is, and I like that this is 18650 because it's less volatile. So I'm gonna feel safer. Previously what I've been doing is I have a big ass China Hobby Line 6S 2500 LiPo, but man, when I used to have two of those, and one of them exploded in my hands and burned the shit out of me at a drift event. So every time I've charged that thing up and put it in my bag, I've been like, oh God, please don't explode and burn my whole bag down. So this is a much safer, I think. I didn't do any actual research on it, but I'm pretty sure that the 18650 cells are a hell of a lot safer than LiPos. Yeah, much safer, big chunk of MAH to be able to dump into smaller batteries. But I also do want to put this on the Cineglide and see what it's like, because the Cineglide will swing 5.5-inch props, and they're pretty goddamn efficient. So it'll be kind of fun to have a battery that I can put on that Cineglide and run it for 10 minutes over, you know, a couple of miles. So I don't know, and it was cheap. It was like $25 for this, yo. So what the hell? I figured play around with a long range battery. So there's that. I got a Tiny Whoop prop locket for you guys. This is going to be a, I'm running out of toothpick tier, $5 a month tier giveaway items. So this is going to be a toothpick tier giveaway item probably next Monday. Tomorrow is not a giveaway stream. Some GNB stickers that were with that battery. Here are the Axis 1404, 4510 kV motors. These are going to be going on to this RipSqueak because I want to test these Axis 1404s versus these Hyperlite 1404.5s. So yeah, these Axis 1404s are my favorite of the 1404s. From a cogginess, notchiness standpoint, and from hopefully a durability standpoint. It's hard to get actual durability data without crashing the motors, but just kind of looking at, I bought one of every single 1404, and just kind of looking at them and looking at the construction, I think that the Axis 1404s are going to be the most durable. The other thing I like about the Axis 1404s is they're pretty light. I think the T-motors are a little bit lighter. I'm going to tell you for sure in just 1 second. So the Axis is 8.2 grams with very short wires. The T-motor is 8.0 grams with, and the wires are like a millimeter longer on the T-motor. So yeah, the T-motor 1404 is definitely lighter, but I think that the Axis 1404 is going to be more durable, and durability is key in my opinion, and for me, because I crash constantly. So yeah, there's that. I got a 10-pack of the OG toothpick canopies, the Newbie Drone squared off canopy. They were doing a little deal. These are going to be in every single toothpick giveaway for the next 20 weeks. I got an extra Hyperlite 1404.5 because I knew I was going to break another one, and I really good timing because I may have broken that one. So this is going to get probably tomorrow night, on tomorrow night's stream. I'll probably get this onto the RipSqueak and see if it fixes that juddery motor issue. This is a right-hand circular polarized Newbie Drone honey patch antenna thing. Again, this is another giveaway item. I've actually heard good things about this patch antenna though, but I have a ton of patch antennas. Oh, look at that, it's just a sticker that it comes with. I almost got the linear version of this, but I figured if I give away the right-hand circular polarized version, it'll encourage you guys to get true RC singularity antennas. Let me get caught up on chat again real quick. I only got one new chat comment. Bulldog says, got the motor recommendation. What about AIO replacement and prop? Don't do an AIO, Bulldog. AIOs are the worst thing to happen to FPV since TBS. Oh, no, since, That's not true, by the way. That's just me being a total asshole. TBS is okay. It's just that Chappie is a bully, and I don't like bullies. Yeah, AIOs are horrible. Don't ever buy an AIO unless you absolutely have to. AIOs only belong on tiny whoops. AIO on a tiny whoop, totally fine. Anything bigger than a tiny whoop, I guess a toothpick too, right? So toothpicks and tiny whoops are the only rigs on AIOs. They are just terrible. It's a terrible platform. Yeah, it's awful. AIOs are the worst. If there's any possible way to not run an AIO, don't. So yeah, you want 20 by 20 stack. I have a huge section down below in my description of all my videos, the gear that I use and trust. You can spec stuff out in there. There's a bunch of 20 by 20 recommendations there for you. And then for propeller, buy a bunch. Buy a bunch of different propellers. They're cheap. They're easy to replace. They have a huge effect on flight performance. You're going to find the one that you like the best. I got a bunch of M2 standoffs for the AOS 3.5 build that's coming up. So I got a bunch of those. I got a bunch of the newbie drone specific motor plugs so I can convert more motors, namely the Beta FPV 1102 motors. I can convert them over potentially to just plug right into the newbie drone builds. Although, and just to have these on hand is nice. Couple of, what the hell is this? Oh yeah, a couple more Nylock M2 nuts just because I'm running out. They always send these little gummy candies that I give to Felix. I got another set of the clear ASI 1.6 inch props for the tiny lifters. We'll talk more about them next time we get those back up in the air. I got a set of the blue, I already have the gray, but now I have the blue 2-inch bi-blades, which are going to get used on the Mosquito build that I eventually do. And then I got, what did I get these for? I guess just so I could have more of the 1.2-inch Gemfan tiny whoop bi-blades. I think just to make sure I don't run out of them. But the reason I did the newbie drone order is for these. These are the brand new newbie drone Flow 1102s. I got them in both KVs. I got them in 19,000 kV and I got them in 10,000 kV. These are for the tiny lifters. This is a 3-bolt motor. These are potentially going to be the best motors for the tiny lifter, which is a 75mm tiny whoop on 2S on the Cockroach 75 frame, specifically designed to carry the Insta360 Go 2. Insta360 Go 2 is a 26-gram camera that is heavy as hell for a tiny whoop, thus the name Tiny Lifter. You know, full-size lifter quads, 7-inch, 8 motor rigs. They're picking up cameras that are really heavy. They're picking up REs and Red Komodos and shit like that, and they are underpowered. They are not freestyle rigs. They are cinematic rigs. So the power to weight ratio is like 4-to-1, 5-to-1 in that world. So, and they're called lifters, right? Like the FPV world has named those lifters. So that's why I call these little tiny whoops tiny lifters, because the power to weight ratio is going to suck, but it doesn't matter. It's a cinematic specific rig. It's not a freestyle rig. And it's meant to carry a camera that's like a little heavy for the platform. Our choice, so the Cockroach 75 frame is a 3-bolt. It's a 3-hole motor mount. So we don't have many motor options that work with that. And the motor options that we do have are very underpowered because nobody builds a tiny, like this whole tiny lifter thing is kind of brand new. I haven't seen anybody else really do it. So yeah, our motor options are very limited. At the moment, the Beta FPV 1102s are the best motors that I've found. But we all know Beta FPV quality is kind of shit. And I don't get the feeling that those motors are very well balanced. They might not be balanced at all. A lot of these little tiny motors, the motor manufacturers are not willing to put the time in to balance them properly. They can be balanced properly because some of them are, but with these little tiny motors, we, as an audience, as the consumer, we expect these little tiny motors to be cheaper because they're smaller. on the manufacturing side, think about it. There's no difference between this tiny little motor and a 2306, and they sell a lot less of these tiny motors. So there's like all these things working against these little tiny motors being cheaper, and they really shouldn't be cheaper. So yeah, the whole motor balancing seems to be a step that gets skipped to keep the price down on these tiny little motors. And yeah, so the beta FPV motors, I think, are they suffer from that, or whatever you want to say. So yeah, this is another 1102. So 1102 is the biggest stator size that we've got for a 3-bolt motor, and now we've got 2 different 1102 options, and I absolutely love that. So hopefully these guys are better than those beta FPV motors, specifically because they've got the goddamn Newbie Drone specific plug on them. So you can just order these up, plug them right into your Newbie Drone AIO, and away you go. And I like the well, the Newbie Drone AIO is the only Tiny Whoop AIO that'll take 2S reliably. So you're kind of stuck if you want to build a tiny whoop, a tiny lifter, and you want it to be lightweight, which you should. You're gonna put it on a Newbie Drone AIO. And yeah, I'm really hoping that these are good, because man, that would make that tiny lifter build super easy. I had heard that these are very smooth running, and my oh my, they are indeed. This is an incredibly smooth motor. Wow. Yeah, this is wild. This is wild. The beta FPVs are also very smooth running. They're not coggy at all. But this is beautiful. This is hot stuff right here. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it early on this one. It's a good motor. The KVs are kind of off a little bit. I have a funny feeling that the 10,000 kV is not going to be quite enough. The 19,000 kV is absolutely way too much. But with motor limiting in beta flight, you can bring it under control and it's going to be fine. So yeah, I wish this 10,000 kV was like 12,000 or maybe 14,000. That would probably be perfect for 2S on the 1.6-inch tri-blade props. But here's what I'm going to do. With these 10,000 kV motors, so again, with these tiny lifters, one of the things not again, but I haven't talked about this in a while. With the tiny lifters, what I want to do with them is fly really sketchy spots. Fly inside of stadiums, inside of malls, and it's a tiny whoop, so who gives a shit? But I want it to be as quiet as possible. On bi-blades, it's loud as hell. On tri-blades, it's actually not bad at all. These 10,000 kV 1102s, I'm hoping that I can run these on the quad blade 1.6-inch props to bring the noise level down even lower. So hopefully these will be my ultra stealth motors. We'll see. The tiny lifters are on the back burner. I have a lot of other shit to get built, but I am really curious about these. So maybe I'll get on the tiny lifters sooner than later, because it won't take that much work to get them back up in the air. But we'll see. Man, I'm having a hard time getting shit done lately because all I want to do is work on the fucking house because it's so much fun. But yeah, we'll get it going. That's it. There's your mailbag for this evening. My voice is starting to go. It's 4:39. I'm not going to work on a Rip Squeak. We are going to look at some Rip Squeak footage, though. I actually have it queued up already. I'm going to get caught up on chat while I'm playing some of this footage. This is me flying in front of the house, yo. Get used to this shit. There's going to be lots more of this coming. Oh, here's the pool. I'll play the pool first. This is our neighborhood pool. This is what our $80 a month in HOA fees go to. Pool and jungle gym and tennis courts. But I mean, who cares about tennis courts? Oh, please play the file. Please don't not play the file, you fuck. Oh, please. Oh God, let's take care of that. There's Felix on the swing. Felix is on the swing. What rig is this? So this is the 250. This is the 250 on 2004 Aerolite 3500 kV motors, 4S 850 mAh batteries. Man, it is struggling to play this file. But, you know. Come on, computer, you can do this. You'll get a feel for it. Man, I'm gonna break a lot of shit on this little jungle gym. There's that, you see that little dive? That dive is gonna eat some quads, yo. This is like, yeah, I can walk to this spot from the house. You can really tell that the propellers don't have enough pitch. These are the Gemfan 3.5-inch props. They're great. They just don't have enough pitch for this big of a motor. This 2004 is really bossing these around. And you could really tell back there a second ago I was full throttle. It should have been going a million miles an hour, and it wasn't going a million. Playing a little bit of pinball there. You know how it goes. Hold on. Give you guys a little bit of noise, but it's just such an awful noise. Trying to get it into the slide. I thought that was the slide. I was like, oh, here I go. Oh, great. That's not the slide, you donkey. Did manage to get it out, though. There we go. We're going for the slide. Come on. Oh, God. It's just tight in there. The 250 is like... it's like 280, 290 grams the way that it's set up right now. This is absurdly tight. That's what she said. There's Felix trying to help me. So that was the ugly slide run, but I had to do it again. Here we go. We got a little better on this. Look at the tiny little corrections. Whee! And away we go! And I didn't kill anyone in the process. Yeah, you see that little dive there? That dive right there. That dive is going to break all the things. I will get it at some point, though. I think it's just open enough where I should be able to get it. Yeah, this, you know, this is right here. This is arguably what micros are made for, right? Like, you could make a strong argument that this is toothpick sorry, not toothpick territory. Well, yeah, toothpick territory for sure. You could make the argument that this is tiny whoop territory here, but I don't think so. I think this is toothpick territory. The 250 was a little too big for this, sort of, maybe. I don't know. You could argue it either way, because with the 250 I can come out here and do some big stuff, you know. But to me, this is why we build micros. This is why we suffer through building micros. So yeah, I'm really excited to have a nice, interesting jungle gym like that really close, because it's yeah, there's gonna be some that's gonna help me kind of continue to develop micros and really get a good durable formula for something that you can really rail on. I think this is when I was giving Jerry a ride along. So this is not super fun to watch, because you know, when you give somebody a ride along, you don't really fly. You just do like the impressive stuff from like line of sight perspective. Oh, so here's the RipSqueak. So here's when the RipSqueak broke. So that was the 250. Well, let's do this. Let's play another 250 file, and then we'll play the RipSqueak file, so that you can hopefully see a little bit more of a difference. That ain't it. That ain't it. Is that it? This is it. Nope, this is a RipSqueak again. Where's the 250? Where's it at? Who are these people? Oh, Jesus, this is when we were flying at the corner dive spot. That's pretty cool. Where's the, is it this? Yo, look at the sky this day. The sky went all orange. This is not the camera. This is, the whole world was orange. This was wild. This is the RipSqueak? Is the 250 not? Oh no, it was recording. Look how orange it was, yo. This is wild. Okay, so we got that. Here's the 250. Oh, it's, it didn't like that memory card, I guess. All right, well, I think we're gonna have to go straight to the. Yeah, this is gonna be all RipSqueak stuff. So yeah, here you guys go. This is the front yard, the front flying area of the house. One of the things that P. Richard Scott Patrick actually pointed out is that I mean, I knew that I was on a cul-de-sac, but when you're on a cul-de-sac, there's never any traffic because there's like 3 fucking houses down there. So this is gonna be amazing. Like a car will roll by like once an hour. It's so cool. So I can just go bananas in the front of the house here. So yeah, here's the front of the house, yo. So that was actually the ESC dropping an arm, little micro desync there. I did not do that little roll on purpose. You guys know me. I don't do those silly little snap rolls. So yeah, look, and the cul-de-sac, you can run circles. I want to get this like really tight, so I like just skim the mailboxes all the way around. So yeah, man, some really cool trees, some big ass gaps, a lot of that kind of stuff. Look at that. So this is the RipSqueak on 1404.5 Hyperlite 4522 kV motors with Gemfan 3.5 inch 20 pitch propellers. This is one hell of a combo. I really can't believe that these 1404.5s can control these 3.5 inch props as well as they do. There's our garage, here's the backyard, there's the treehouse, you can barely see it. A little screened in porch area. Yeah, man, I wish this was playing a little bit better, but you guys kind of get the idea. Yeah, this is a great spot to test. It's got just this. Look at that! Look at that float, yo! Look at this. This is a 1404.5, yo. Why are we doing the 1505 thing? Why are we doing 1504s? Maybe because they're more durable, but there it is again. There it is again. A little tiny desync. This ESC is on its way out, I think. Well, I know the ESC is on its way out. I don't know if it's all the way dead or... Look at this massive power loop. Trying to power loop the whole street. Look at that. I think I did it again. I covered all this distance just now. I'm going to do it again. Ready? Whee! There it is. It flies like a 5-inch, yo. It flies like a 5. Everything I build flies like a 5-inch. Everything. I built 80 quads. Every single one of them flew like a 5-inch because I'm a good builder. Flies like a 5-inch. Doesn't fly anything like a fucking 5-inch. You know what flies like a 5-inch? A 5-inch. You fucks. Stop saying that. Everybody stop saying that. I need to stop saying it too. Flies like a 5-inch. There's the bottom patio thing. Look at this spot, man. Come on. Come on. Ooh, trying to get me. You ain't got it. You ain't got nothing. Here it is, ladies and germs. Instead of the front of the apartment complex. So that's what killed the motor or the ESC. That little donkey fucking hit. Ready? Like, yes, it's into asphalt, but that was what, like a foot off the ground? Come on now. And then this is the battery that I flew for Jerry. I love watching the onboard from batteries where you're showing off for somebody. It's just, it just is amusing to me. Let me shrink this down a little bit, and I'm going to try to get caught up on chat, and you guys can watch the show-off battery for Jerry, the neighbor. Remy Tim says, if that battery was only $25, I would plan to never, ever fly it. I wouldn't trust that it was made with genuine quality cells if it's that cheap. It's just not really possible, even from G&B. Yeah, you know, I think they have another battery with genuine cells that was more expensive. The main use for the battery is to charge 4S850s. But thanks for that reminder, Remy Tim. That's a really good call. Maybe if you were to fly at an ultralight 5-inch or 6-inch, you'll be able to keep the amps low enough to get away with it, but be very careful not to overdraw that pack if you fly it. Okay. All right, see, I just won't fly it. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I don't want to do long range. It's just not my thing. PJ says, so 4-inch or individual ESCs on a 3-inch RipSqueak. Never, ever individual ESCs. 4-inch, definitely. Well, wait, no, not on a RipSqueak. RipSqueak, you want 3-inch, not 4-inch. Oh, 4-in-1 is what you meant to type, PJ. Okay, yeah, 4-in-1 for sure. Individual ESCs are, that's from the 90s. We're not doing those in the 2000s. 4-in-1s, yeah, for sure. Ramdongo says, replace the golf course manager ARG. I have no idea what that means. Bulldog says, thanks for info, you man. You're certainly welcome, I should say. BlitzFPV says, so what about the Happy Model X12 5-in-1 AIO? Still suitable for a toothpick, or would you use a separate receiver in VTX to negate the weight savings for replaceability? That's totally up to you, Blitz. The Happy Model X12 is going to lock you into 1S. That's a deal breaker for me. But if you're planning on 1S, that's going to be the lightest weight option for you. It's probably going to be the least durable option, though. Happy Model quality control is pretty bad. But I mean, their stuff isn't that bad. I don't know. Seems like it's better than Beta FPV, but I don't know about that. So, yeah. Just keep in mind it's going to lock you into 1S. And so it's going to have to be a very lightweight toothpick. It'll make sure it's lightweight though, because you won't have to have an external receiver or VTX. So like no matter what, that'll be a lightweight toothpick. So yeah, that's a good. That's what I'm doing with mine. My Happy Model X12 is getting a toothpick built around it. It didn't make any sense to me in the Mobula 7. Ramdongo says, I'm interested in a quad running from the e-cig fuel cells, 550 mAh lithium ions. They get thrown away and have many cycles in them. Thinking out loud, that's interesting. 550 mAh is not a whole hell of a lot, though. Brandon's Baked Bean says something. That's YouTube doing the thing, for the record, if anybody wondered what the hell I mean when I say that. Brandon's Baked Bean says, are they the 1102 flow motors? They are indeed. Kevin Smith says, I guess I missed your not so glowing review of the Aikon AIO. I haven't really reviewed it yet. It seems to be phenomenal, though. It's what you're watching. No, it's what you were watching a minute ago on the 250. I've got about 5 batteries in it, and it's fine. It seems to be great. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the best AIO that there is, but it's still an AIO. So there are physical limitations to AIOs, mainly in that the same PCB that's dealing with all the electricity from the ESC is where your gyro is. So an AIO is just never going to be as good as a 20x20 stack. It's also one big board, so if anything fails, you got to replace everything. And it also has 12 thick gauge motor wires and 2 thick gauge battery wires connected to it, which are going to hard mount it. So from a vibration perspective, it's going to suck, and a 20x20 is just the way to go. But yeah, the Aikon AIO is probably as good as it's going to get. But yeah, AIOs are cursed forever. It's just a bad idea. It's the wrong form factor. It's too wide. Our frames don't need to be that wide. So a frame that supports an AIO is going to be needlessly heavy. And so any weight savings from the single PCB is out the window, and the frame design suffers as well. So yeah, and I'm probably forgetting about a half a dozen other things that suck about AIOs. But if you're running a frame that requires an AIO, the Aikon is almost certainly going to be the one to get. Mr. Huggy says, I've noticed the HQ props. There we go. There's your flight footage for the day. Mr. Huggy has noticed that HQ does a 3.5 by 2.2 biblade. That's interesting. And a 3.5 by 2.5 tri-blade. I unboxed those hour ago or so. Alas, in the UK, like Gemfan props can't get them. That sucks, Mr. Huggy. Left Step says, fantastic spot to fly, provided nobody dies. Bulldog FPV says, as a park maintenance super, I can appreciate playground flying. Very cool. 4:55, and my voice is really going, so we're going to wrap this up in a minute. Bulldog FPV says, neighbor's going to hate you. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not. I don't plan on flying a lot. I only fly freestyle, like maybe like freestyle 3-inch, like maybe once a week. So it's not like they're gonna have to hear it often. So yeah, it'll probably be fine. I make more noise with the fucking with the pressure washer. You know, the pressure washer is a much more annoying noise. It might not be more annoying, but it's certainly a billion times louder. So. Gamma Gonad says, be careful, man. I wasn't flying anywhere close to this aggressive when I caught my harassment charge. Just watch out is all I'm saying. Yeah, I will. I certainly will. And we're caught up. All right, I'm going to end this a couple minutes early because my throat is really starting to bother me. That's what she said. All right, friends. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, we are going to get some work done. Pop a new motor on this. Put a new motor on this RipSqueak, see if it's the motor or the ESC that failed. 250 is good to go. I just ground down one of these propellers to 3-inch. So I'll switch this over to the 2.5 pitch props. We'll get this reassembled. I think all of the soldering is done on this. I think this just needs reassembly. And if we have time, we'll dig into the tinylifters. And, or, I don't know. We'll do some toothpick things. Maybe. We'll see. Be good. Love ya. You're welcome for the stream blitz. Ramdago says, gently warn what your hobby is to the neighbors, Batman. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Here comes some big quad fly. No, here. This is the double dive spot with micros. Let's get some music queued up real quick. And... oh, it's going to run at shit frame rate. Well, you guys are probably used to it by now. Terrible quality frame rate, but micros flying at a 5-inch spot coming at you. Let me just get some music going here. One Direction instrumental. Nah, I know that song. The Morgue? Nah, Be Strong by Nightcap. Oh yeah, we're gonna be strong. Remember, friends, be strong according to this band. Love ya. Be good. Later.